Moonpool by Kingsley Taylor. Chapter 3. Leah would often come to me at night. She would stand and gaze across the lake, and when the sky was clear and full of stars, I wondered if she could hear them singing. The moon passed from full to half and came later in the night. In all this time, the weather was calm and dry, and barely a breeze would trouble the lake. Leah would talk about Ban and about the child she hoped was growing within her. Then she waited. "All is well," I whispered to her, for I knew the child had already begun, and I would do everything in my power to help and protect. But I had decided to appear to none of them so as not to interfere with their lives and their development. If they needed me, I was there, and that was enough. After many days, the moon fully waned, and a new moon had begun. The humans had gathered a stock of skins and antlers and bones. Then Ban and Store packed some things together for a journey, took up the things they had gathered, and turned towards the lake.
Moonpool, I humbly ask you, bless our journey, keep us safe, and bring us success.
I would also ask that you look after the camp and particularly look after Leah for me.
He took the antler tool from his belt and threw it into the lake. I could not do anything about their journey except ask my brothers and sisters to watch out for them, but Ban knew I would protect the others who remained. The older woman, whose name was Shana, tended to Leah. She reassured and prepared a drink with herbs for her every time the sun was about to sink below the horizon. Both of them would dig for roots along the bank of the nearest river to them that brought water to me from the hills. They had a store of dried meat, so there was no need to hunt. The older man, called Ha, taught the younger, called Tan, to fish, and they were most careful to thank me every time I caused a fish to move towards them. I realized I was waiting again. Even without taking on physical form, I was caught up in the lives of a group of humans, which in the order of this would pass unnoticed. But I was drawn in to their sense of passing time. Every time the sun rose and strode across the sky, trying to sink in the west, was important to them. I was ready to appear at least to Leah, but I was still unsure of the feelings I had last time I took physical form. I waited while the moon went past the full, waned, and waxed again. Perhaps when she was at her fullest and her glory reflected in my waters, and then perhaps I might. But the day before, she was at her fullest Ban, and Store returned with a group of people, 5 and 5 and 5, mostly men, broad and strong, and some women, and 2 smaller people. These were children, the first I had seen. They brought spears and knives, large quantities of wood and antler tools. They drove poles into the ground and started weaving thinner pieces of wood between them. Some of the men, led by Ban, went off to hunt, while others went back down the valley and brought back more wood and dried grasses. The dwelling took shape, a large hut of poles covered with skins. This was obviously a permanent shelter. It seemed that they intended to stay, and I was glad. Each night, Ban and Leah would sit by the lake for a while and talk of their hopes and fears and the children that would follow. They asked for my blessing, then lay together under the original shelter. Others of the group were paired as well, but they had been together some time, and the children were obviously from these unions. But it was the children I found most interesting. 2 boys they were. They would run, they would pretend to hunt each other, they would wrestle. The taller would always win. Tam and Set, they were not brothers. Tam was tall and broad, very strong but not very fast. Set was thinner and much faster. He was the brighter of the 2. Tam, out of pure muscle, pulled Set to the ground and attempted to sit on him with all his weight, but Set, being so much more agile, managed to slip from his grasp. But as he tried to stand, he lost his balance and rolled down the slope into the water. The water was already quite deep at this point, and it never occurred to me that he couldn't swim. All animals swim, and these humans were just as buoyant and capable of swimming. He splashed about, and I felt his panic deep within me. It was this panic that stopped him swimming. Tam ran down and began to wade out to him. Up to just above his knees, but I could feel his fear as he froze to the spot, unable to go further and not far enough to reach Set.
Set, help, help.
Two of the men and one of the women who were at the camp began to run. I could feel the water entering Set's lungs. I felt him getting weaker. Do I interfere? Do I let nature take its course? Accidents happen. Animals drown. Such is the way of life. But this was a human animal, and would the others understand if I simply let him drown? The camp was just too far, and Set had so little time. I didn't really think about it. I lifted him with my arms and lay him gently on the pebbles of the shore. I lay my hand on his chest to be sure his heart still beat and his lungs drew breath. When I was sure, I looked up. The woman took him in her arms, and all three got down on their knees facing me, a mixture of gratitude, fear, and wonder in their eyes. Tam stood in the water, where he was trembling, unwilling even to turn and look at us. On the shore, he retreated. This had been on impulse, and I was not sure that I should have got involved. There is a place in the depths of the lake, not quite at the deepest, but very near the center. It is a place where the veil between the physical world and the other world is very thin. A place where I can meet my brothers and sisters without leaving the lake.
You have grown, my daughter. Too quickly. Quickly? You know nothing of time. Watching these humans has taught me something of time. But with them time is long. Because they are mortal, and their time is short in the order of things. Every time the sun is in the sky is important to them, so to them time is long, that is all they have. Set would have had no time at all if I hadn't saved him. Was I wrong to do so?
There is no right or wrong. There is only good or evil.
But you must understand that the Maker of all things has gifted them with a dual being, and only Set's physical being would have ended.
What you did was a comfort for the community that live with you, especially his parents.
Because they do not know their duality and cannot see beyond their mortal lives.
The reaction of the people to you and your response to them will determine whether it was good or evil. You meant only good, and that is the best way to start.
Then how should I respond? I have seen these beings all round the world for a lot longer than you.
And even now I cannot predict how they will respond.
Ban is wise for a mortal. Talk to him. He understands his people very well.
North of the camp, the ground rises to a small hill, not the highest in the area, but close enough to have a good view of the greater part of the lake. It was deep night, and there was no moon in the sky. Clouds scudded across alternately, revealing and obscuring the stars. I called to Ban in the whisper on the breeze, and by the light of the visible stars, he came quietly, without raising even Leah. He kneeled to me, and I sat down facing slightly away from him. I knew he was looking intently at me, slightly confused, so I patted the ground beside me.
I am not your equal.
No, you are not.
I patted the ground again. Slowly he stood and sat down beside me, facing across the lake. If only the moon had been in the sky, but this felt like it was a test. He clasped and unclasped his hands for some time. This was the first time we had met for many turns of the earth, and the first where we had just sat.
We are not equal as you say, yet I have learned much from your people that I didn't know as spirit. Still there is much I do not know. I would know your thoughts at this time.
You saved Set and gave him back his life. We owe you so much already. How can we ever repay you?
Set was not dead, and I cannot give life. I saved him from drowning only. As I said, I have learned much from you. And your people. We help each other, talk not of repayment.
But we impose on you, camping where we do.
You have to camp somewhere.
And all land and water is overseen. If you see this as imposing, then you will impose on some spirit.
Wherever you are, we are guardians only, and the Maker of all things has given you the land. To settle and grow.
I still fear we impose on you, perhaps in some way. But I know no stronger words to express my fear, for you are goddess.
Why do you not drink from the lake? Why walk all the way over there for water?
The lake is you.
What of the sprite of the river? Do you not fear to impose on her?
I didn't know there was one. I never saw her.
All land and water is overseen.
This hill?
This is still me and the hills across there, all the valley. I am not just the lake.
He was silent for a long time.
We have both grown, have we not? Your child grows too.
I heard him gasp, his heart almost miss a beat.
You are a wise man, Ban. You make a good leader. You will make a good father.
He bowed his head.
Tell me, Ban, how do the others think of me?
You are goddess. To see you frightens them.
But they are also glad that you are here looking over them. You saved Set, and they are glad.
Yet they still fear you because we always fear what we do not know.
Then I should not take this form.
Humans forget easily. It would be well to remind us from time to time.
They also get too familiar, don't appear often. Balance is important. And who can really tell where that is?
You have not become familiar.
What we have is complicated, I'm sure you see that. I am human. You are goddess.
We must leave it there. Also, we each have our responsibilities.
You are a wise man, Ban. I will watch over Leah and the child.
Ban was also a very open man in his thoughts. I saw that the night he first came to the lake, and saw the moon reflected in the water. He had been dreaming a sort of waking dream. When he uttered the first word I ever heard, he not only spoke of what he saw but an image in his head. I became that image, and when he turned and saw me, it was no wonder he was drawn to me. Yet he had the sense to realize the difference between his world and mine, his dream and reality. I understand why he left so abruptly, and never returned alone. But how did I feel? He was the first human I ever met. And until I took on this form, I had no feelings at all. I may be older than the world itself, but there are times when I feel young, as if I know nothing. We sat and said nothing for a while. Then Ban rose, and bowed low to me.
My goddess and my friend.
With that, he retreated down the hill. I sat for some time longer enjoying the sights, sounds and smells of the physical world. I reflected on Ban's passing remark, no nearer to understanding humanity at all.